What's going on, everyone? Thanks for clicking on my video. I greatly appreciate it. Hey, today we're taking a look at part one of a three-part series watching this truck stop documentary from Modern Marvels. We're going to take a look at it and see what's changed since it was originally aired in 2007. A bunch of stuff since then has changed, but we'll take a look at the video and go through it as it plays. Remember, this is part one. Stay tuned for part two and three at a later date. All right, let's get into it. Yeah, I'm going to go through as this plays and see how things have changed. This was aired in 2007, so I'm sure a ton has changed.
Hauling more than 11 billion tons of freight.
Wow.
That's more than $9 trillion worth of cargo.
That's crazy.
Any product that you buy in a store, it got to that location by a truck. What I always go by is without trucks, America stops.
Yeah, that's true.
Trucks keep America moving. An army of more than 3 million men and women keep the trucks rolling. These weary road warriors spend weeks cooped up in a cab, but they have an oasis on the road. The truck stop.
Oh, that looks like California. That's beautiful over there.
Do laundry, take a shower, do something besides sit here and hold a steering wheel.
When the normal person goes home from their day of work, they like to sit in their easy chair and relax. Well, that's what truck stops offer the drivers.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely crazy. I didn't realize that it was that much freight and that much money being moved every day. I'm sure it's gone up since this was 2007. Amazon really wasn't kicking up, nor Temu, nor all these other online shopping back in 2007. So I'm sure it's gone up since then. I just didn't realize it was that much given my little perspective of the stuff that I've hauled.
Drivers can really kick up their feet at the Iowa 80 truck stop.
Gotcha, the world's largest truck stop.
Billed as the world's largest truck stop, it plays host to more than 5,000 truckers every day. Iowa 80 sprawls across 225 acres, 4 times the area covered by the average truck stop. That's
right, but not all of it is being used. This part over here, if I remember right, let me see if I can click to this main video so you guys can see a little bit better. Yeah, this part over here, if I remember right, is a museum of different trucks and stuff. This is just a tank. This is a fuel islands, and these are a couple of shops for repairs. I believe this one's a shop. I don't quite remember what that building is. And then over here you got the main building where all the stuff is at. But they still have plenty of room to expand. The world's largest truck stop, though.
2.5 times the size of Disneyland. There are enough parking spaces here for 800 rigs, and the main building spans more than 70,000 square feet.
Yeah, it is big.
The fuel center alone is double the size of most truck stops. It can dispense diesel to 15 big rigs at once, around the clock.
Now it's time to fuel a truck. Do the same.
Assuming all of their lanes are working. It's become quite a problem lately where half of the truck stop lanes aren't even working. The fuel islands. Yeah.
What you do when you get
If they're all working, they can all dispense all the time.
Put in the truck number, the mileage, and the driver ID. This authorizes the pump so that they know who's using it. Then you simply turn on the pump, open up your tank, and put your nozzle in.
Right.
But we as truckers have one more thing we can do. Let me show you a trick.
Just a real quick note too, if you're a newer truck driver or you're thinking about getting into trucking or anything like that, make sure you get the Truck Stop Rewards points. Pilot, Flying J has one, Petro TA, Loves, Speedway, Mapco, all of them. Get all of them because a lot of times they, well, pretty much all the time, they offer rewards for you fueling up with them in the form of points or showers or credits. And you can take advantage of those and basically reduce the expenses that are a part of being a truck driver. All right, let's carry on.
Most trucks have 2 fuel tanks.
Yeah, you
So
got
when
your
it comes time to
satellite
fuel
pump.
The other side, we can come over and use another pump.
These dual dispensers can fuel both tanks simultaneously. One dispenser is a master unit that controls the fueling and records the sale. The fuel flows from the underground tank through a metering system in the master dispenser, and then on to both nozzles. A pipe from the master unit carries the fuel underground to the other dispenser, called the satellite unit.
Took 167 gallons.
Whoa.
$440 worth. Fuel.
That's it? $444 for 167 gallons. All right, let's do some math on that, see what that comes out to. So we got a calculator, 444 point blah 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 gallons divided by, or sorry, dollars divided by 167 gallons. It's 2.65, so $2.65 rounded up to $2.66 a gallon right now. In 2007, that's what that was. That's absolutely crazy. It wasn't, but in the last year, there's been prices as high as $5 a gallon. That's crazy. It's come down quite a bit now that the elections are coming up, which is typical. Wow, that's definitely crazy. All right, let's get back to it.
67 gallons, about $440 worth. Fuel's expensive, but without fuel, these trucks are not going to move. This will last me probably 1,200 miles, so I probably won't need to fuel for probably another 24 to 36 hours.
Yeah, so depending on the size of the tank of the truck, it could be either a 75-gallon tank on each side, or 100 on each side, or 175. So you never get to the 175, even if you got, just the bare minimum amount of fuel left. It never seems like you can fuel all the way up, but yeah, just do the math. It's important too, if you're owning your own truck, to figure out what your rate per mile is for your fuel. This way you can kind of figure out how much your fuel expense is going to be.
Fueling the passenger side tank was anything but a gas.
We'd have to take the hose and throw it underneath the truck. It'd sometimes get full of dirt, so we'd have to clean the dirt out. Now that we have two pumps, it goes so much faster and it's so much cleaner too.
Yeah, the only time I've ever had to deal with that is if there is no truck stops anywhere near where I'm at, whether I'm in like Nevada or Utah or something where it's miles from truck stops, and that's fueling at just a regular old gas station. And I don't recommend doing that. The difference in the diameter of the pump alone makes it go extraordinarily slow to get the fuel. Having two pumps is awesome, and just the bigger flow is way better. It should take maybe 10, 15 minutes to fuel up your truck every time you fuel.
They can head on over to the Truckomat. It's just the spot for big rigs that need big baths.
Blue Beacon is the go-to these days, the streaking beacon. But the Truckomat's cool.
Combination of manpower and machine power.
We hand scrub the rigs because it's the more traditional way of doing it, but the sides of the trailers have to be scrubbed. And if we did it by hand, it would take 20 minutes probably. So we fabricated this machine to do that for us. The brush comes out,
right,
air power, and it spins and it does the sides of the trailers. As the machine.
Yeah, the streaking beacon, they do everything by hand, cleaning out the inside and all that stuff, but they have like a larger crew of people doing it versus the Truckomats have maybe 2 or 3 people for the ones that I've been to.
We just do our job and the machine will do its job. And
but shout out to those guys. I've cleaned trucks before. As far as my own truck, it's a lot of work, and they do it all day long. Nowadays, be careful if you're getting your engine cleaned out. Sometimes these wires that are over here, there's your fuse boxes and stuff can be underneath the hood, and it could damage stuff with that high pressure. So take a look under your hood. Make sure you don't have anything that could get damaged with that high pressure before you get an engine clean.
It's 180-degree water. Takes off all the grime and salt and oil and whatnot that collects on the engine. And it helps
Right.
find oil leaks and other fluid leaks they might have.
After less than 15 minutes of scrubbing,
Warner's getting a big old advertisement in this video.
the truck driver finds a parking spot to let it air dry.
BT Dubs, not a fan of Warner. They were the ones that initiated the ELDs. They were also the ones that initiated the dash cams. and all that safety equipment that everybody hates. I mean, it's there for a purpose, obviously, but it's definitely put a damper on the trucking industry as a whole. Thanks, Warner.
Iowa 80 has come a long way since it opened in 1964.
Oh my gosh, it's that old?
Bill Moon, a regional manager for Standard Oil, selected the site for his company. It was strategically located along the emerging Interstate 80. I-80 was to stretch from San Francisco almost 3,000 miles east across the country to become one of America's first interstate routes.
Gotcha, Mr. Eisenhower.
Vertical artery spanning all the way to New York City.
Yeah, 80 is the largest interstate, 80-90, because it joins in certain spots. We will look at another video. Stay tuned for that. But there's another video explaining the longitude, latitude, all the different reasons for the numbers of the roads. I'd like to get into that on this channel, so
When Iowa 80
keep an eye out for that.
Traffic was light, and so was the demand for truck stops.
Wow,
We started out,
significantly
we had
smaller.
2 gas pumps and about 3 diesel pumps. We had a small store and parking for maybe 8 or 10 trucks, and that was it.
Little mom and pop shop.
In 1984, Moon purchased the truck stop from the oil company. Under his management, the site flourished and innovated.
You know, in here is one of the best things I've ever found in a truck stop. It's the trucker store.
Yeah, if you're ever in need of anything truck related, come to one of these major shops. And then they have chrome shops too, if you like that. But they have a lot of chrome stuff in there, whether you're wanting valve button covers, steering wheel covers, steering wheels, fenders, mud flaps, the whole nine. You'll find it here. You're not going to find it in your regular. I mean, you'll find some stuff, but not as much of a selection as what they have here.
1,000-square-foot showroom is the trucking industry's Bloomingdale's.
Yeah,
Stocked
seats.
with chrome, stainless steel, and more lights than the Vegas Strip.
As we do our yards and as we fix our house up, truck drivers feel that way about their trucks. They're in them all year round, and they want to make them look nice.
Yeah, if you got money onto it. I seen a meme the other day that said when you have to spend money on truck repairs versus truck upgrades, and it was like a sad face or something. That's
The
pretty
wall
good.
20 feet tall and 40 feet wide, displaying 500 illuminated LED lights.
Right.
Although safety regulations dictate that every tractor trailer be equipped with at least 22 lights, many truckers like to light up their rigs like Christmas trees.
Some chicken lights.
And if they're shopping for a different kind of dazzle, 3 decked-out semis flaunt the trucker's delight. Chrome, that protective shiny metal that makes rigs glisten in the sun.
Just make sure you're looking up laws as far as what colors you can use. Most of the time it's just amber and red that you're allowed to use on it. Underglow and stuff, it has to be done while you're parked, so just be careful of that.
Trucks. We have full fenders to a step, 6-inch stacks, and of course the custom front bumper.
Chrome is slang for chromium, a highly reflective blue-white metal resistant to tarnish and corrosion.
Until it gets
It's
chipped,
added
then
to
it
other
starts
metals
peeling.
like aluminum to form a protective and attractive covering through a process called electroplating. First, the aluminum part is wired to the negative pole of a battery, and chromium to the positive pole. Next, both metals are immersed in a solution of chromic and sulfuric acid to permit the flow of electricity. Since the
Interesting.
aluminum is negatively charged, it attracts the positively charged chromium. Automakers in the 1950s began using chrome to produce cars with a flashier appeal. Soaring tail fins and grinning wide-mouthed grills lined the highways, and chrome became a household word.
Man, wouldn't it be cool to go back and live in that time? I mean, obviously some things have gotten a lot better, but just those cars, those are awesome.
Today, chrome has taken a back seat in passenger car design. But modern big rigs carry on its glistening legacy. After dishing out their dough on a sparkling chrome accessory, drivers can retire to the trucker's area.
Yeah, it's a trucker's lounge.
It's home to 23 private shower rooms, a driver's den, a 60-seat Dolby surround sound movie theater, and a barbershop. There's even a dentist.
If there is such a thing called an emergency room of dental care, this would be it. I'm usually the truck driver's best friend because I am taking them out of pain.
Although perks like a dentist and a barber may entice a driver to pull into this mega pit stop,
Yeah, a lot of shops a lot of the bigger truck stops have a barber or I don't think I've ever seen a dentist. I've seen walk-in clinics or not walk-in clinics, like your Minute Clinic at CVS or, you know, Fast Pace Health or whatever you got. Your urgent care, where you can get physicals done and things like that. A lot of the truck stops have those.
a home-cooked meal can really draw a crowd.
The restaurant's the heartbeat of the truck stop.
Unfortunately,
Drivers like food and they like large portions and they want to feel like they're getting a lot for their money.
definitely. Yeah, unfortunately with COVID, that did away with so many like sit-down restaurants. I can't tell you how many good like Iron Skillets, you know, things like that. Country Pride at TAs, you know, other sit-down spots in truck stops, they've pretty much gone. Your best options now are just fast food options at the truck stops. Every now and again, you'll find one that's still open, but they're still not doing what they did before with buffets and whatnot. And man, I love me some buffets. Look at how big I am.
The Iowa 80 Kitchen Restaurant serves more than 1 million cups of coffee, 2 million eggs, and 90 tons of meat each year.
Wow.
When you can find a truck stop that's got homemade food, boy, you live for that. I'm gonna live high on the hog today.
Yeah,
This type of
Petra with the
roadside
iron
pit stop
skillet.
dates back to the 1920s, as cars and trucks began dominating America's roads. The original mom-and-pop truck stop sprouted up. They catered to truck drivers by providing just the basics: food, fuel, and a mattress.
Yeah, because they didn't always have sleeper berths. Those weren't invented till later. And this is before they even had pneumatic tires, too. You know, they had the hard rubber. And, oh, man. Okay, maybe I don't want to go back that far. I like the luxuries of the modern truck.
Basically a spare room in the back of the station where people would be pretty crammed in, but it was a place to rest for the night.
The trucking industry had gotten a jump start during World War I, fueled by America's need for efficient transport. As military traffic clogged the nation's rail lines, trucks started to crowd the roads to make shorter hauls.
Right.
You had thousands of trained new drivers, as well as thousands of vehicles that were created for the war effort, so the industry really took hold and expanded.
Yeah, and this is why, like, brotherhoods and stuff sprouted up in trucking that's completely gone away. The trucker camaraderie isn't nearly as what it was, even in the 70s, 80s, the peak of the CB radio and all that. Pay phones before you even had a cell phone. You're just running on maps and caffeine. There's a big brotherhood that sparks up there where, you're actually going into the truck stop, sitting down, eating together, chatting up about road stories and all that stuff. I think that would be cool to be a truck driver in that time. Unfortunately, I haven't been.
Rapidly.
I'm a new school
By
trucker
1935,
based off of these standards.
40% of all communities were dependent upon truck service.
More mom-and-pop truck stops started dotting America's local highways. But by the
This is
end of
really
World War
interesting.
II, these small operations were primed to be supersized. The return of the nation's GIs and the post-war building boom made it clear that the U.S. highway system could never effectively absorb truck traffic, stretching from coast to coast. Though more than 200 highways crisscrossed the United States in the 1950s, they were jammed with vehicles and inadequately designed for the era's faster and wider trucks. The Federal Interstate Highway Act of 1956 changed that by launching the creation of a national system of superhighways
Interstate.
that promised a quicker means of moving goods.
The launching of the interstate system really resulted in some mega stops truck stops no longer became something feasible for an independent owner to construct and run. It was when the oil companies really got into the game big time.
Right.
When Standard Oil opened Iowa 80 Truck Stop in 1964, it sat on roughly 5 acres. Since then, its owners have developed more than 75 acres.
Wow.
Reserving plenty of room to expand.
I mean, it's awesome to see little small mom and pop shops grow. Unfortunately, a lot of them have petered out and been taken over by your major truck stops, your Loves, Petro, TA, Pilot, Flying J. And they, even those companies own smaller companies. Like for a while there, Pilot had ownership of Speedways, and Loves had other ones, you know. So even those smaller mom and pops, even Speedway's really not even that small of a brand comparatively to these local mom and pop shops.
But there's more to an ultimate truck stop than size. How about a high-tech hookup that not only makes a trucker's life a breeze, but also could save more than 1 billion gallons of diesel each year?
Yeah, these were the idle air systems. They still have some of the framework for some of them, or a building up here and there, but these went out the window quite some time ago. I've seen a couple of them. I've never used one. They were pretty well out when I started trucking, but they still had the systems up and the pipes coming down. Basically, I mean, they'll get into it in this video as far as what it does, but it was air conditioning, TV, music that you just hook up to your window.
More than 1 billion gallons of diesel each year. The truck stop at night. From a distance, it seems peaceful and serene.
Yeah, it's definitely loud.
It's a deafening hum of idling engines.
Truckers idle their engines for various reasons, including keeping the heat on in the winter, the air conditioning on in the summer,
Right.
powering their laptops, their DVD players, charging up their cell phones.
Idling trucks burn about 1 gallon of diesel every hour. And America's Army of Truckers idle away 1.7 billion gallons of diesel every year.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can start to sleep through, especially when you get on home time and, you know, you got a crying baby in the other room because, you know, you have a newborn or a young kid that's at home with mama, and mama gets frustrated because you ain't home, you know, you're not waking up to all this noise. Well, it's because you're sitting there with an idling engine, you got a reefer unit, you got, according to this video, 500, 800 other trucks around you doing the same thing. You got people honking, people driving by, lights going everywhere. It's actually more difficult to sleep once you've been in it for a while when the truck's off. And, you know, your bed's not shaking and vibrating as, you know, the truck's running. You know, we have to deal with wind blowing and shaking the truck back and forth. So you get pretty good at sleeping. If you don't make it in trucking very long.
Idling also adds wear and tear to the engine, and not surprisingly, dumps pollutants into the atmosphere. One company thinks it has a better idea. Idle air allows truckers to...
Yeah, remember this was done in 2007, this documentary.
Idle air is advanced truck stop electrification. Basically what we've done is devised a way to deliver all the creature comfort services to a parked truck.
Yeah, except for, you know, you're burning that fuel, idling your truck. Guess who's going to charge you for this idle air? These people. So either way, you're spending the money. You just, you know, less wear and tear on the truck.
Stop in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, that's right by me.
Plug into idle air. All drivers need is a $10 window adapter to connect to the
$10 for that, $10 for this.
One of my favorite things about using the idle air is that it enables me to turn the engine off at night so that I don't have to listen to that rumbling and the constant vibration in the truck. You sleep a lot better. I typically spend
I disagree.
3 months at a time out on the road. So the idle air to me, with the internet access and the phone hookup on it, allows me to keep in touch at home.
The system also offers games.
Okay, so they had internet access through these things before, I guess, 5G, 4G, 3G, and you didn't have it on your phones already. Okay. Yeah.
And more than 60 TV channels, so drivers can keep up with their favorite shows. there's more to the system than drive-in entertainment. There's also a heater air conditioner. Every idle air unit sits above a parking space along a truss or support structure.
Right.
A hose connects each unit to a service delivery module that provides individual electrical service. Idle Air's inventor, A.C. Wilson, came up with his initial concept in 1999 while vacationing with his brother-in-law, a long-haul trucker who just received a ticket for idling.
I went to bed that night thinking more about it. You know, how can I help these truckers?
Hey, every great idea starts with a problem that needs to be solved. Unfortunately, you know, you see where we're at now, where this thing's kind of faded out. It's been replaced, so just to be clear, it's not just dropped off the map. It's been replaced by APU units, which is a small motor that takes up less fuel, that sits on the truck, and it runs off of the diesel that's in the truck. It's a smaller motor, so it uses less fuel, and that heats and cools your truck without, you know, burning up so much. They have electric APUs too. And those, you know, don't use any fuel at all. It charges a battery while you're driving, and then, you know, once you go down for the night, it's good for about 12 hours.
Here I am in my motorhome. I'm just as comfortable as a bug in a rug. Why can't I do that for the trucker?
Wilson went to work and created his first
Shout out to this guy though for thinking about something that would help the truckers.
The window, providing climate control and power.
We quickly saw that in order to package these services together, we would need to do it overhead so that we could distribute these systems safely.
Right.
Engineers took Wilson's brainchild one step further, developing an advanced delivery system.
This duct set is a concentric duct. Basically, the supply air will be delivered to the driver through this center tube, whereas the return air will pass through here and will pass our advanced filtration technology.
Okay, so you're not farting in one vent and it's going into another truck. That's a good idea.
An hour in fuel, plus wear and tear on the engine.
I wonder if you've been around for since these were actually active. I'd love to hear from you. And maybe we could sit down and have a conversation of the good old days and whatnot. I'd love to do that as well. I was wondering if those were actually smelly just from so much air and condensation, being that it's outside. So if you're getting some AC and it's a cold day out, if it's a hot day out and you got AC, the cold air running through the vent and the hot air outside, similar to where your, you know, AC units drip water, is there mold and must and things like that? I don't know if that's why it got shut down originally due to safety concerns or whatnot. Just a thought I had. Definitely comment if you're an old school trucker and experience these.
That's still only about 2% of all truck stops.
Truck stop electrification programs are hard to find for the average truck driver today. So therefore, most truck drivers, or a lot of truck drivers, are going with generators or APUs to provide
right. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Need for their sleepers.
An APU or auxiliary.
Oh, that's a super sleeper. I'll have to find a video or find somebody that's got one and do a tour of these. These are amazing. Yeah, we'll save that for another time, but yeah, super sleepers are really awesome.
Power unit is a small motor fueled by the same diesel that runs the engine in the tractor.
If you idle one of these big engines, you're going to use up to 1 gallon of fuel an hour. With an APU, you're going to be maybe 1 quart an hour, and you will achieve the same thing.
These portable power systems installed right onto the truck.
When you consider that gas is under $3, so we'll go with $3 to do the math pretty easily. You're down for a 10-hour break, that's $30 in fuel. That's not terribly bad comparatively to now, given that parking spots are $17 a spot for the night if you want a premium spot, or if you get in later and there's not enough free spots. Your shower's another $15. You're at $30 there, plus however much this idle air system was. It's definitely not cheap to be a truck driver on the road, so definitely if you're getting into this, plan to have some expenses. This was part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. I'm going to go ahead and start recording that right now. All right, well, I thank you for taking your time to watch my video. Stay tuned for part 2. Appreciate you. All right, bye.